Well, hello, everybody. Glad you're with us on a Thursday. Man, Thursday here of a full weekend of football from the NFL to high schools to college. And man, after week one, it'd be nice to kind of have things settle down a little bit.
Back to normal, as they
Well,
say. Yeah.
I think we're a long way from back to normal. In some fan bases, a long way.
Yeah. With the you mean with the Earth rotating on its axis correctly, and
Yes.
all this kind of
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Something about
maybe
the
so.
roses in this grand old stadium are crimson. Or
Once
something
again,
like that.
crimson. Yeah. Maybe someday.
Mhm.
Man, this week, it's not necessarily a weekend here in the state amongst the SEC teams for self-discovery.
Whew, no
You
kidding.
know, for instance, Alabama. Just if we want to bring them up, they're not going to solve a lot of problems. They're not going to ease a lot of anxiety if they look really good against the Warhawks of ULM. It's just not.
No
They
way.
could win it by 60, and the fan base will say,
Sure.
still don't like it. Still not happy.
Well, should have
Mean-
done that. You're right. They're in a no-win situation. That's why I cannot stand games like this. It's a total waste of my time.
Yeah.
I mean, if they win by 60, well, so what? You should have won by 60. But if the score's 31-14, wait a minute.
I kind of get it. But, maybe I'm just saying maybe this is not the game to say that. Wisconsin probably a little bit more, but if it wasn't for what happened on Low that fateful, very memorable day in 2007, I would say your point would be a perfect point. Alabama has lost to this team before. So, they get a victory over this one. You can say, whew, at least we didn't lose. But as far as easing the fan base's mind, it's not going to do anything. But, it's not some sort of easy walkover game that makes John pull his hair out and say, why do they continue to schedule games like this?
Well, I've been saying that forever, and certainly magnified this week. Why do they schedule teams like this? And, I've heard there are a lot of comparisons out there. The national media is feasting on Alabama's problems and their embarrassing loss. And actually, the last several that they've had going back to last year, the national media is certainly enjoying this. But Bear, I've heard the comparisons of Mike Dubose and Mike Shula and things like that. I think it's a little premature to be comparing Kalen Debor to Mike Shula. Now, if Ty Simpson's in the game Saturday late in the third quarter with a 35-point lead and he blows his knee out, then we'll start having some comparisons. But right now, I think that's a little early.
Probably, just like your previous point, probably a good point. But honestly, for a guy who has been spearheading the charge to have Mike Shula get his recognition with a halftime, he's still coaching. He's the offensive coordinator at South Carolina.
Well, what if he lights up Bama in about 2 months like Malzahn did Saturday?
Possible. Very much more possible than what happened the other way. But Shula, again, for a guy who's been lobbying for him to get more respect.
Come on, show the love.
This guy won 10 games in 2005. A lot of them got taken away.
Debor hadn't won 10 games.
That's what I'm saying. So everybody's saying he's Mike Shula. Well, you're the guy who kept saying, Mike Shula wasn't so bad.
I'm telling you.
He was, that block for Al Bell in the 85 Iron Bowl. So I get the sense that John's kind of, he's close to some good points, but saying he hates games like ULM when he has seen ULM come into Tuscaloosa and win that game.
Well,
And
I did see
I know
that
for a fact,
technically.
3 years. Should we be comparing him to Mike Shula? No, Mike Shula's had a better record than he did.
No doubt.
So,
For the record, Barry, I did not see one snap of that 07 game. Was it an 07?
It was an 07, Saban's first year.
The 07 La Mo defeat. I was in Atlanta that afternoon getting ready for the police reunion tour at Phillips Arena. I didn't see one play of that. I just looked on my phone and went, whoa, wow, look at this. Huh, who's this Saban guy?
About the fourth quarter when Keith Brown drops another pass, DJ Hall runs another incorrect route, and John's up there saying, John's in the back with his big lighter going, and her brother's gonna kill me, and he's 6'10". I don't think your mind was in the right place to truly appreciate how bad of a loss that really was, because you're sitting there thinking, another suburban family morning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Once they got it going and we got into some good tunes, I was, message in a bottle. I'm about to send Saban a message in the bottle. I'm gonna throw it through his window. But things got better. Are they going to get better now in Tuscaloosa? Well, we're hearing the same old stuff, and maybe La Mo and Wisconsin are the recipe before they head to Athens. But are we expecting any dramatic difference? I mean, they're going to snap their fingers, and in 1 week things are going to be totally different. I mean, I'll probably take a peek at this game Saturday night. There's an Oklahoma-Michigan game that I probably will be more interested in, because those are two teams that ought to be playing each other. La Mo? Does La Mo just stand in the back of the room and go, hey, we're available. Anybody need us here? Anybody got an open week?
Louisiana Monroe, true. They do have the smallest budget in FBS. And, they haven't been very good. They've been terrible. But I understand your point, to the sense that, Alabama could win that game 60-0.
Yeah.
And Bob from Pike Road still going to be on the thing on Monday. I'm telling y'all, Debor ain't the guy. And so it doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, at Auburn, Ball State, I'm not saying watch out, because Ball State's not very good. Look them up. But when you got Philip Marshall, who never, ever has any respect for the group of five, ever, I think Philip probably would have been a little bit better adjusted in life if he had to cover a group of five team once in a while. He actually gives his thoughts on the game against Ball State.
Yeah.
He says it would be very difficult for Auburn to play poorly enough to be in any kind of real trouble in this game. If Philip is indeed, as John has long suspected, if he is indeed the voice of Auburn fan, that's what John wants. Every morning he says, what's happening over at Auburn? What are the Aubs saying? Boom. Philip Marshall skims him for 3 minutes, 5 maybe. He says, okay, I got him. I'm it's like reading a putt for John. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I got this.
Barry, that is almost upper echelon.
Just be thinking that, Aubs.
Blue chip, panache, cachet talk. It would be extremely difficult for
me to imagine Auburn playing poorly enough to be in any kind of real trouble in this.
One road win against a Power 5 team, and look what's happened.
And he doesn't know Ball State from Penn State, from Quaker State, but it's just they're Ball State.
Or Quaker Oats. I will say this, Barry. I found it a little interesting.
Okay.
A team that is, I don't know, thought of as poorly as La Mo is. No budget, no money, no nothing. Ball State, not a juggernaut either. Alabama is only a 36.5 point favorite against La Mo.
What are you talking about only?
I mean,
At 36.5, everybody has a lot of points, right?
when they were playing these tomato cans under the Saban era, I mean, they were laying in the high 40s. 36.5. On the other hand, Ball State is a 43.5 point underdog on the road. So what in the world is, why is there a 7-point, a touchdown? Are you telling me La Mo is a touchdown better than Ball State?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I mean, I've seen Louisiana Monroe before many times, just about every year. They're not great. Couldn't tell you anything about Ball State. I'm not going to make any presuppositions like Philip Marshall. But
what league are they in? What league is Ball State in?
The MAC.
The MAC.
Out of Muncie, Indiana, the Ball State Cardinals. Again, I pointed out every time of the rare times they come across our radar, the alma mater of David Letterman, the alma mater of Joyce DeWitt, who played Janet on Three's Company,
Joyce
and never
DeWitt.
did another thing. I'm very proud that I beat Preston to that one. Yeah.
She's probably making a lot of residuals on the Three's Company reruns.
That's exactly right. And, Three's Company reunions.
Yeah. Come on.
Aren't there anymore.
Remember that? Love that theme song.
Mr. Roper's not there anymore. Mr. Furley's not there. Jack Tripper's not.
No.
Chrissy Snow, she's not there anymore.
Man, unbelievable.
She might be the only one left, except Jenny Lee Harrison or somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, she replaced Suzanne
Summers.
Suzanne Summers for a couple of seasons or toward the end. Who knows?
Are you like John? Are you people fess up? Are you like John? Dyed-in-the-wool college football fans follow college football religiously in this state, especially with your favorite team, and are going to watch Oklahoma, Michigan instead of your team's game?
We'll probably go quad box Saturday night. Going quad box.
No, I just figure he'll go quad box. I can't go quad. I don't even know what quad box is. Only thing I know about quads is what Robert Kahn told me yesterday from Phoenix Physical Therapy. I don't have that option or that interest because I can't do it. But you watch John check out that Oklahoma and Michigan game and watch that scroll at the bottom, and all of a sudden it says first quarter 6:34, ULM 3, Alabama nothing.
Ooh.
Then he'll get off the quad box.
Yeah. I'll be turning on Chris Stewart when that happens. Actually, I'll probably turn on the Auburn network. Hey, Jason, guess what's happening over in Tuscaloosa? What's that, Andy?
Crimson Tide down 3 on our Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard.
I've used this line many a time before. I think I dropped it on Shadow, and he was very truthful in his answer. Would you rather Auburn win or Alabama lose? And, of course, he didn't hesitate. I want Alabama to lose. He's one of the biggest Auburn fans I know. I'm kind of getting that feeling. Great win out at Waco, beating Baylor, but whoo, man, the way the Tide got beat on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
miss Stan too, Curtis. I'm with you. I do miss Stan. Nothing against Jason, but I do miss Stan.
I've heard that before. Like I'll get, people know my Auburn connections and my Auburn history, and they'll text me or they'll Facebook message me and say, "Hey, man, what happened to Stan White?" I'm like, he ain't been on in 2 years. Obviously, you're not a religious listener or something like that, but Jason does a good job. Jason does a good job for some reason, and maybe something. I've been in radio for my entire career, broadcasting in my entire career. What is it? I mean, Jason had a better NFL career than Stan.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but I think Jason does a great job. But Jason Campbell doesn't resonate with Bama fans as much as Stan White did. I mean, Auburn fans love Jason fine. They loved Stan. They love Charlie Trotman. They loved Gusty Yearout. And they love Stan White. But, man, nobody loves Stan White. Loves to listen to Stan White as much as Bama fans do. Oh, hang on. I'll be right back. I got to go tune the radio. I got to hear what Stan's got to say about this.
I think timing had a lot to do with it. it was a tough time for the Auburn program. And at the end of Malzahn, Harsin, whatever, when things weren't going Auburn's way, you could feel it. I mean, Stan you could tell it was bothering him. His Auburn was coming out in him, and dadgummit, he didn't like what he was seeing.
Oh, Bama fans coming back down Highway 82 from their game. It was a comfortable 4-touchdown win, feeling good, reminiscing about the game. Somebody says, "Ooh, the Ops. What are they doing? They've got to be in the second quarter by now." They tune in. John's been in this car. I know the people. Yeah. John's been in that car. And all of a sudden, you listen, here's Rod or here's Andy, and there's Stan. They say, "Give the score." And John will say, Auburn's losing. Auburn's losing. Well, how do you know? They haven't given the score yet. You just wait. I'm listening to Stan. Auburn's losing. And all of a sudden comes out, Auburn down to Missouri, 17-14. And everybody in the car except the driver looks at John he says, I can tell.
It's just the tone of the broadcast. It's kind of like reading in between the lines in a Phillip column. I mean, I just have this uncanny ability to be able to detect it. And then, boy, when you turn it on, everybody's giddy and Bottageddon. Well, they're beating this team. Woo, man, yeah. They are blowing.
I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. I'll read Phillip, when we're on the road in location somewhere, I'll read Phillip and, okay. And John will sit down. First thing he does, opens his laptop, reads Phillip. Oh, watch out. What do you get? What do you see look at your screen. You must be reading something different. Oh, no. I don't get it, but he can do it.
Well, Bear, the NFL kicks off tonight. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Believe it or not, it's the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll touch on that a little bit. No college action tonight. We do have some tomorrow night, I believe, and an NFL game tomorrow night. But we'll get into that later. Jason Caldwell will join us here in about 13 minutes or so from Auburn Undercover. Look forward to hearing what Jason has to say about Auburn's big win last week and getting ready for Ball State on Saturday. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, joins us at the top of hour number 2. And Bill Clark, of course, was it Prattville, Jacksonville State, UAB, their head football coach. He'll join us at the bottom of hour number 2.
It's a special treat here on the program. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us. I was scrolling around last night looking for some scores, one in particular. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
And I noticed that some Cub beat writer or sports reporter, I guess, has the assignment of listening to Hey Coach or whatever it's called. I don't even know what they call it anymore.
It's Hey Coach.
Hey Coach with Kalen Debor. And he just basically writes what is being said. And I'm thinking, wow, really? And I wondered, I mean, I guess last night people listened to it because coming off a humiliating road loss again, I guess maybe they wanted to hear what the coach had to say or what he's planning on doing to change things around. From what I read, I didn't really find anything out that I thought was earth-shattering. A couple of players showed up. Pee Wee was the first call. I mean, pretty much seemed business as usual. I mean, did they screen those things so somebody just can't go, screaming and hollering at the coach? Because y'all do a coach's show at Troy.
I don't, to be honest, I don't know of another school, probably somebody does, that actually takes phone calls on the coach's show, much to the absolute frustration of Robbie from Greenville. And, Chris does a good job. And all
Roger
of that.
Hoover.
Yeah, Roger Hoover, those guys. But this was a day when you let Pee Wee in.
Yeah.
And you scream the heck out of everybody else. Yeah, and they go through each segment. Somebody, his first segment, Debor, pardon the language, he says, we're all pissed off about what happened Saturday.
Barry, I did see that.
We're all pissed off about what happened on Saturday. Bama fans, how does that make you feel?
Well, they are. No doubt.
Seems like the most obvious statement of the entire hour.
Boy, you ain't kidding. And when did that word become just, household? I mean, I mean, do you look at, I don't get it. Hey, Mom, I'm going to take a piss. No, you didn't say that when you were, I got to go to the bathroom, Mom. I got to go TT or whatever you said back then.
Got to go potty.
Why is it such a common word now to express your anger or your frustration? If you're mad, you use that word. And maybe I shouldn't. I mean, when a woman says it, I'm going, really? Did you just say that?
No. Yeah.
I don't get how that word became so universally accepted. I would never say that in front of my mother.
No.
If I was mad. I'd say, Mom, I'm just not real happy about it.
Yeah. I've never said that word except to quote somebody. And even then, like just now, I didn't feel all that comfortable. But his emotion behind it. It's like George Carlin says, those are just words. It's the emotions behind it.
Yeah.
What does that make you feel? Well, Bama fans are listening and saying, well, duh, you should be. You're the reason why everybody is that way.
Hey, Theodis, I got to agree with that one.
Well, again, that's big Preston Plump. That's Theodis. Yeah.
Hey, it is. Truth hurts sometimes, folks. Truth hurts.
Yeah. And then Curtis comes right afterwards, yeah. But, I mean, I remember, what was it Saban said before the Mississippi State game at Hey Coach? Oh. And there's always 10 million people out there. Buddy Mitchell from Tuscaloosa is always in the
Where
crowd.
Has he been? Wow.
He checked in and wished me a happy birthday the other day. But I know he's around, and he probably ain't happy. But that time when Saban was up there, he says, I don't give a bleep, and he used the S word. What you're doing. This team deserves you to be out here. And of course, you got the old boys. Woo! Yeah, Coach, you tell them. Is pissed off that way? I mean, does any fan say, yeah, there you go. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Say a mild expletive, and we know that you're taking it seriously. Or are they looking at it and saying, Well, duh, you should be. So are we. You're the reason why. Do something about it.
Maybe in the Pacific Northwest, that's used frequently, commonly.
Yeah.
I hear it more common and frequently in the South as well. I don't like it. I think it's, great. There's a better way to express your anger. And, of course, they packed Bryant-Denny Stadium that Saturday because Saban wasn't happy because people were leaving the games early or not coming because they were getting complacent and fat and happy. And maybe this is a reality check and a, reboot. I've been asked this question all week. I think everybody around the state and everybody that follows college football, particularly Alabama's asking, do you really believe Kalen Debor can turn it around? I think that's a hard question to answer. It doesn't look good, based on what they've done on the road. And I've seen all these stats about, the 4 losses against unranked teams compared to Saban's losses to unranked teams.
In like 134 games against unranked teams.
There again, it's just a feeling. I don't have anything to base it on except what I've seen in a year in one game. But if you're asking me, my answer is going to be no. I don't have a lot of confidence that Kalen Debor is going to be able to turn this around unless I see some big-time changes. And I'm talking about everywhere, not only with the players and their effort or lack thereof, but the coaches being a little bit more fiery and busting these guys' tail and getting it, it was a very physical practice in preseason. Obviously, it wasn't physical enough.
Yeah, it's not. That's what I've seen the accounts. It's not the practices because they've been practicing very physically, and it's not. To me, that's not as much of anything. It's just as a lot of times they weren't trying hard, which is absolutely.
I mean, Barry, is it too easy to say in this day and age, if you don't like the way we're doing things, hit the road?
No.
Or is there a fear factor that these coaches go, well, I can't say that because they will hit the road?
Yeah.
But if it's a problem within your program, do you need it? If it's a culture issue and, we're going to go 80% or we're going to bring a doll to the game or we're going to wear watches in uniform or whatever. It looks like, the players are running the institution and the coaches are just kind of a sideshow at some places.
Yeah. There was an article, and doggone it, Bob from Pike Road, I can't find it now because this is what Bob is referencing.
It was at On 3.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That'll help me out because Bob points this out. And this was in that article On 3. I read the whole thing. I think it was Andy Staples. I'm pretty sure it was.
It was Chris Lowe, who is now at On 3.
Okay, that's what messed me up. He used to be at ESPN for forever. Yeah. Bob from Pike Road says, when a big booster whose portrait is hanging in Bryant-Denny is telling Chris Lowe that there is a problem, things are being discussed behind closed doors. Men like that are intentional and never say everything they're thinking. BFPR told y'all Debor isn't the guy, and it appears the big boosters at the capstone probably agree. Was it that same booster, Bob, who said, yeah, we're spoiled? Of course we're spoiled. Always have been. We've been spoiled for a long time. But I think
it might have been that booster that said, no, UAB does not need football. Get rid of it.
Yeah. They don't need Jimbo Fisher. We need Jimbo Fisher.
I'm sure the boosters and the trustees are not happy. I think that's pretty obvious. Are they coming up with $70 million?
Are they that unhappy, Bob? That's my question.
Yeah. I mean, being unhappy is one thing. Doing something about it, they're in a pickle. There's a problem because, I just don't think, you're going to scrape up that. I mean, I think that's very premature to be talking like that. But, obviously the knee-jerk reaction, the embarrassment, all that. Oh, my God, they got to get rid of him. Okay. Scrape up the coin. Let me see how much you're able to get donated.
Well, when we come back, we'll recap not only the Auburn win on Saturday on the road, on Friday on the road at Baylor, but we'll preview The matchup coming up this week for Auburn against Ball State. Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com, joins us on Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
The dreams that matter most happen while we're awake, because they're the ones that remind us of the places we want to go, of the ideas we plan to pursue, of the legacies we hope to leave. We understand you have goals to meet, and we want to help you reach them, to fuel your vision and invest in whatever motivates you. So we want to know, what inspires you? Synovus Bank, member FDIC.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Okay, back at it, 28 minutes to the top of the hour. Barry mentioned it, our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us as he does each and every Thursday. Hey, Jason, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing really well. You and the staff at AuburnUndercover.com spent a good time, a good bit of time, Friday, Saturdays, really into the next week, kind of recapping and going over the essence of Auburn's 38-24 win on Friday night. What was the biggest thing now with a little bit of reflection, a little bit of time to reflect? What were the things that stick out to you?
Find a way to win, first of all. It's just, in this day and age, just find a way to win. And as I kind of walked off the field, I was thinking of, the Oakland Raiders, and you think just win, baby. And that's what I was thinking of, really, because in reflection on last week's game, I think it was as good a situation for this Auburn team and program now as it could have been. Maybe in 1988, that game you go, man, that was a struggle. But in 2025, you had to respond. You had to have a drive when you needed it. You had to have a couple of stops. They had to make plays in crunch time. And I thought that was a big deal for this team. So quite honestly, that was probably it for me, that hey, it wasn't perfect. There are a lot of things that need to be fixed, but when they had to have things, they did it. And that's what they haven't done for the last 4 or 5 years.
I think the highlight, and most everybody I've heard talking about it, is just the running ability of Jackson Arnold. We saw it last year. Certainly ran all over ran all over Alabama and Norman last November, but just having that weapon throughout the remainder of the season, Jason, I think is huge for this offense with all the other playmakers there on that side of the ball. Having that one with his running ability, haven't really seen the arm yet, didn't really need to in Waco, but man, I thought the running game from Jackson Arnold was spectacular.
Yeah, Baylor decided, look, we're not going to let Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons, we're not going to let those guys win, because their pass defense last year was pretty bad. So I think they gambled that, look, we're going to try to stop them in the run game with 4 or 5 guys all night because we can't hold up in man coverage. And I thought the other part of this one, winning the game, thought the other part was patience. It was a really patient offensive approach by Hugh Freeze, but also by Jackson Arnold. because, with these guys outside, you're like, man, sooner or later, I'm just going to take a shot. And they resisted and said, okay, we'll just keep running the ball. And what's interesting is that when somebody plays as soft as Baylor did, you have ability to run the football, but you don't have a whole lot of big play ability to run the football, because normally when you have big plays in the run game, it's because everybody's at the line of scrimmage and you break through and there's nobody left. Well, Baylor had everybody deep, so there's a lot of 7-8 yard runs. A lot of those where, those guys are playing soft, but you had room at the line of scrimmage, but not a lot of second level room. So I thought they did a good job of look, hey, here's what we can get. And they kept getting those plays. Jackson Arnold's runs were really the big runs of the night. I think you'll see take some shots in the passing game more this week. But the running ability from the quarterback position is going to force people to put more guys at the line of scrimmage, because that's an extra guy. You can't, you normally go, well, you got 5 guys there. Well, when you have 5 guys in line of scrimmage, you have a tight end, a running back, and a quarterback. All of a sudden, you're outnumbered big time if you don't put guys in the box. And so I think it's going to force some people to have to play things a little differently.
Talking to some Auburn friends of mine, Jason, they kept saying, where's Eric Singleton? I heard so much about Eric Singleton. Well, I got it. I got it. He was a decoy almost all night long. Is that what you're talking about patience and
Yes.
you're not forcing it to him or anything just because he's got that ability, right?
Yeah. No, him and Cam and Malcolm, only through 14, 15 pass attempts, something like that. It wasn't a whole lot. And Eric Singleton had been banged up too. He had that deep thigh bruise that had bothered him in camp. So you're able to get some things out of him last week. Now you should be better in week 2 and week 3. But I thought the old school, kind of that Cam Newton, they used Eric Singleton like Ontario McCaleb a little bit and said, okay, look, we're going to send him across the formation. You have to be wary of that guy, because, look, hey, Florida State did some of the same things to Alabama, going, look, we're going to make you play 53 yards wide. And when you do that, it stretches a defense a little bit. And I thought doing some of those things in a run game with Eric Singleton was big. And you got some things you can build off that as well.
What are where are the points of most improvement that needs to happen?
Yeah, I think you now shifted to defense. If you'd asked me going into the game, the group that I felt the best about for Auburn, it would have been the secondary. They had been that good in the preseason. But I thought a lot of credit needs to go to Baylor's quarterback, their offensive line, their wide receiver group, and Michael Trigg, because I thought they were really good. I thought they did a good job of decision-making, spreading the field. And even then, it was probably 5 plays that accounted for most of those yards, a couple of them in some pressure situations. But, you're looking to go, okay, you got to get better at tackling, better at angles, better at some of those things. So probably just shoring things up on the back end. And I thought that probably the thing that was a strength for them, maybe by week 10, was a detriment in week 1. I thought they probably tried to play too many guys and tried to get too many guys ready in the preseason. And when you do that, sometimes you're not quite as sharp. So I think as you play these young guys, things are going to get better. But I think that depth starts to show up as you get into the season a little bit more.
I would think you wouldn't get the coaches to admit this, but I would think, getting a road win against a Power 5 opponent and then coming home playing 2 teams that you're going to be heavy favorites against, big favorite against Ball State this week, kind of get some things worked out, get some things a little bit more solidified, a little bit more confidence before you head on that 2-game road trip with SEC opponents at Oklahoma and Texas A&M.
Yeah, the schedule, once you get a win at Baylor, then you go, okay, this thing sets up to be a pretty good spot for you, because you've had a game. Now, if you do the things you're supposed to do, then the next 2 weeks, as long as you don't fall flat, you should feel pretty good about your chances to win those games. and Oklahoma has Michigan this week. Texas A&M has Notre Dame next week, and so you start looking at those teams are going to have challenges ahead. So it gives you an opportunity to go fine tune some things, and that's really what this week we've heard from guys. We'll talk to Hugh Freeze here in a couple of hours after practice today, and the theme is going to be, hey, Auburn, take care of business from your perspective. It's not about the opponent. This is about going out and improving and fine tuning and fixing mistakes and cleaning things up. If you can do those things the next couple of weeks, then you'll put yourself in a pretty good position, to kind of get this first quarter of the season started.
What are the reports on Damari Alston?
Yeah, he was in a blue jersey Tuesday when we were at practice. No contact. We talked to him post-game in Waco Friday, and he said he had a couple of stingers. So I think it's just going to be that soreness factor from him, that if anybody's ever had one of those, that it can debilitate you for a little while. And so I think for him, get to Saturday, see how much range of motion, see those things. I wouldn't imagine he'll get a ton of work in that game. I could see him doing stuff, but I think this will be Jeremiah Cobb. We saw, one carry from Darrell Robinson and maybe Omar Mabson we get a chance to see on Saturday. So maybe a little bit of Damari, but I don't think we'll see a heavy workload for him as he, kind of, comes back from that.
I believe the stadium at Baylor is relatively new. Well, what was the atmosphere like in and around the game?
Yeah, it's a good atmosphere inside. I tell people I'm not a soccer fan, but obviously it's on TV a lot. It reminded me of a soccer stadium a little bit set up where you have the upper level, but like open air kind of in between and smaller upper deck. And so I think it's 45,000 or so. Atmosphere was good, but there were probably a quarter of the people there were probably Auburn fans. So there were probably 10,000 of 10 or 12,000 of the 45,000 Auburn fans. So because of that, it was kind of dipping your toe in the water of a road game where you're going, you're on the road, but it wasn't like going to Oklahoma and Texas A&M and places you're going to have to go this year. So probably, good atmosphere. But to me, it was like, okay, it kind of felt like Arkansas did 20 years ago. Yeah. That's kind of what it felt like to me.
Anything to read into losing the commitment of Hezekiah Harris? Any other news as well?
Yeah, no, I think it's just the world we live in nowadays, where you look and you go, what kind of deals can guys get? Where they like them somewhere else? And I had a really interesting story from our network yesterday, Blair Angulo, talking to people from ACC and the Big 12 and the SEC, and it was GMs and folks like that about what's next with NIL and what do they feel like. And I think most people feel like that there's going to be a lot of turnover between now and December. But when contracts go on paper and you start finalizing deals and guys go, hold up, wait, that's not what you told me. Because there's going to be some differences because of, the NIL. And if they stick with the structure they're saying now where it has to be legitimate deals, then a lot of things that have been promised for guys aren't going to be able to be delivered. So you're going to have some guys go, okay, well, I'm going to start looking around again. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement. We were talking this last week, myself and Christian Clemente, about kind of the recruiting board. And you hear everybody say, well, I'm done. I don't think anybody's done. I think everything is wide open. I think everybody's still on the board. I just think that's how this year is going to be, where between now and December, I think you're going to see a lot of movement happen. And so from that perspective, if you're Auburn, the guy, you just keep recruiting guys and going, hey, look, watch what we're doing. And if you win enough games and you show those guys that, then by the end of the year, I think there'll be some new names on the board.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Totally agree. People better get ready. There's going to be some movement between now.
I think it's just natural with so much uncertainty with how these contracts, deals, with the salary cap and all the things that happen. I think there's just so much that's still unknown that's going to have to filter itself out over the next couple of months.
I know it's a small sample size, Jason, but over the long holiday weekend. Were you able to catch any other games? And if so, what team impressed you?
Yeah, we actually flew back on Saturday. So we watched, got called in the airport and held over for a little bit in Dallas. So we watched a lot of Texas and Ohio State. Wasn't really surprised by either one of those. Arch Manning going on the road for the first time. June Saden, first game as a starter. I thought both offenses struggled a lot. You know, and it's one of those, I think both defenses are good. I don't think both defenses are that good. I think it had a lot to do with kind of playing it safe. LSU was impressive, but again, we don't know how good anybody is. Yeah. Clemson had a lot of returning guys, so you'd think they should have been good at home. So that makes me think LSU a little bit more. Miami was good, but again, Notre Dame first game starter on the road. The quarterback was probably the best part of the game for them. I didn't think they were very good on the line of scrimmage.
I didn't either.
And I know when you talked about a lot, I was really surprised that Alabama looked like they didn't know what was coming on offense, based on the fact that it was basically Auburn's offense from 2010 to 2013. It wasn't anything new. That was the surprising one to me. And it was probably just line of scrimmage more than anything. I was really surprised at the line of scrimmage that Florida State won with a bunch of guys that were new. So that was probably the takeaways for me. And just watching some of the things we were able to see.
You mentioned before, you've got you've had input from the network. Of course, the network is one of the many great resources that you've got. So much great content from your staff as well, leading into the Ball State game. Tell people how they can access all of the information you provide.
Yeah, you can check us out at auburnundercover.com. And, I know folks nowadays, the more you can listen, a lot of people just kind of absorb it all. So you get done with your show, come check it out, because we have some really interesting podcast type things going on right now. We had Les Snead on, the Rams GM, from a podcast talking about his time at Auburn. But Ellis Johnson and Terry Bowden, we got a couple of former coaches talking about football that bring some things to the table, but our roundtable podcast as well. But previews heading into the weekend should be a pretty good recruiting weekend, even though it's not a huge game. So all of that you can find at auburnundercover.com, our YouTube page at Auburn Undercover as well, and follow me on Twitter at ITATJason.
One quick question here before we let you go. We talked yesterday about how one of the real values of the Ball State experience will be that it's Pat Dye reunion weekend and everything. In your estimation, your opinion, Pat Dye, the most important figure in Auburn football, in Auburn athletics?
Yes. Yeah. I think, Bruce Pearl is gaining momentum, obviously, in that one. But because of when Coach Dye came in, I was young. I was 9-10 years old. And I tell people that, especially guys that are now here, that are in their 20s and even 30s, I was like, look, I was born in 1972. Didn't really have any recognition. I wasn't cheering at punt, Bama punt. I was. Right.
I wasn't either.
You weren't either. I was 10 years old, though. I was 10 years old before I saw Auburn beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Growing up in this state as an Auburn kid, you start going 10 years of your life without seeing a win in that game. That's what it was like. But hey, the things he did for the growth of the library and putting money into other things other than football, the AD, hey, bringing Hal Baird in. There were lots of things that did it. And just his love for a place that became home. It showed up every day.
How do you think Coach Dye would feel about the state of college football today?
We would not be able to put it on a podcast. I think because we had the good fortune because him and Mark Murphy had such a long relationship,
right?
That he would come to our office on Monday mornings every day, every week, and talk about the game, and we just kind of sit down. And so I think about games a lot. And I thought about Saturday because it was so hot. And I thought about, we had this discussion often, like he said, look, there was an Auburn Ole Miss game in 1990, and it's still, I was there. I just graduated high school. I was there in Jackson, Mississippi, and Auburn played Ole Miss. And he said, look, that was the hottest day of football he'd ever had. And this was a guy that grew up eating salt tablets, and they wouldn't give him water. Yeah. And so when people talk about games, I'm like, that's still the benchmark for me. And I hope I never get another one like that one. But Saturday was pretty hot. So it was up there on my list of hottest games that I can remember covering for Auburn.
Coach Dye would join Barry and me every Monday on our radio show. And I will tell you, it was some of the best radio segments we ever had. And he would get going and we'd say, Coach, all right, we appreciate it. We're at the top of the hour. We got to go. And it was like we were hurting his feelings that we hadn't let him go. No. He wasn't ready to leave.
No, it was and it was stories we always tied in, because when the SEC Network started some of those things, they showed some of the background on players, and he talked about some Fran Tarkenton stories that were just magical.
Called him Francis.
Francis, that was it. Francis inserted himself into a game when the quarterback got hurt. They scored a touchdown, and he went for 2 on his own and just ran back to the sidelines.
Good stuff.
Good stories for sure.
Oh, always appreciate your visit every time. Great value with you, Jason.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Great stuff, man. Awesome. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover.
When Terry Bowden lifted his hands in the air exultantly in the middle of the field, getting carried off after the 11-0 season. Even then, again, Jason Caldwell said Pat Dye, the most important figure in Auburn athletics.
I'm not going to argue with that. Just not at that moment. He wasn't.
In that particular nanosecond in
time. Yeah, and I've listened to some of those and watched Bowden. He's pretty good. I got to tell you, Terry's not bad on those podcasts. When we come back, Barry, before we get to Rodney Orr at the top of the hour, I wrote something down that Jason said that I think people really need to think about. I'll tell you what it is when we get back.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Score big savings at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville during the kickoff savings sales event. New 2025 Ram 1500s up to $21K off MSRP plus 3.9% APR for 72 months or 1.9% APR for 72 months. It's your choice. New 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokees up to $11K off MSRP. New 2025 Jeep Wranglers up to $14K off MSRP or 1.9% APR for 72 months. New 2025 Jeep Gladiators up to $13K off MSRP or 4.9% APR for 72 months. And Ram 2500s up to $14K off MSRP. Alabama and Northwest Florida's largest volume Ram dealer is in Prattville at Stivers CDJR, where Price sells cars, trucks, and SUVs. 2209 Cobbs Ford Road and at stiverscdjr.com.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Play to win big at Victoryland Casino, where the hottest, most exciting games are waiting for you. Big bonuses, giant jackpots, and rewards keep our guests coming back for more. Visit our Players Club today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, a couple of minutes to the top of the hour here on a Thursday. Jason made the statement, and I totally agree with him. I wrote it down. Player movement. You're going to see a lot of that in the next 4 or 5 months. Tuscaloosa, going to see it in Auburn, Athens, everywhere.
Yep.
The lineup card that you've got today is going to look a lot different by January the 1st.
How does that affect your identification? I know of fans, I've heard of a lot of fans who say, I'll watch, but I don't have that deep, intrinsic, just identification with it. And it's not like I've got to watch my favorite team because, in the olden days, you got somebody coming in as a freshman and it didn't play because freshmen didn't play back then. And then sophomore, you got to see him a little bit. And then junior, okay, this guy's a starter. And then, by the time he's a senior, he's going to be really good. That doesn't happen as much anymore. I just, there are people who just, I'm not, I'm just not as big of a fan as I used to be. Maybe some of you are that way. But I can tell you this. The opening weekend of the college football season, the ratings have never been better. Ohio State, they got transfers all over the place, and they've had for a couple of years. Last year, they won a title with a transfer quarterback from Kansas State, transfer running back from Ole Miss, blah, blah, blah. This year, their quarterback was an Alabama guy. Their strong safety was an Alabama guy. They got transfers left and right. So does Texas. It was the most watched week one college football game of all time. 16.6 million viewers. This past week, best ratings across the board from Friday to Monday night that there ever has been. LSU, their win over Clemson, which I watched a couple of times getting ready for my game. LSU, they went shopping, John. I mean, they got a ton of transfers. Fans didn't care. That was football, and they watched it. So if you're thinking, it's going to Hades in a handbasket, college football, the way it's going, no, it's not. The networks are loving it anyway.
They love those big matchups. There's no doubt about it. And similar to the NFL, Barry, who have 53-man rosters, are we going to see a day, particularly with some of these schools, that we are the colleges are just going to focus on maybe their top 53 players and the other 30? So what? We need people to practice against.
Yeah.
My point being, we got to emphasize, we got to get the best 22 players we can get, and hopefully they don't get hurt. But we don't have enough money to spend on 85, but 22, we got to focus on those 22, and that's where we got to spend our money, and we got to go cherry pick and snatch people out of their programs.
Everybody at the schools that have fully bought into the $20.5 million of revenue sharing that each school can have, everybody will get something. Even the third string, free safety will get something. Probably not a lot. But, John, I think you're already starting to see that where, you're shopping. You're not spending all of your money on chips and hummus and, that artisan cheese. You got to buy a couple steaks,
Yeah.
You got to buy some chicken. You got to buy some fish. And that's what you're going to spend, that's the expensive stuff out there. That's the reason why everybody was griping last year about why in the world didn't Auburn sign Cam Ward out of the transfer portal. Number one, I don't think he would have made a huge difference. He wouldn't have gotten Auburn to the championship game like another Cam did. But you get him for 1 year, then you ain't getting Cam Coleman at all for 2 or 3 years, or Perry Thompson, or, you can name all of those guys. So, John, that's the reality. You're going to have to save your big money, and you've got people on your staff who are basically cap experts.
Yep.
They know how much money we got. Okay, coach, we can spend $3 million on this kid, but we're probably going to have to back off of these 4 kids back here. Do we want to do that? Yeah, we want to. Okay. John, that's what's happening, especially with, now that you have a little bit more responsibility in NIL. You just can't pay somebody, NIL. They have to have, it has to be approved and all that. So yeah, you're having to say, all right, who are the guys that we're spending our big money on, and how much money are we spending on them?
You got to be a value shopper. Got to get the most value from what you are spending your money on.
Yeah,
hey,
buy 'em
Dennis
by the pound.
Yeah, no doubt. Dennis Mitchell is on our River Region Straw chat line. See him popping in this morning as well. Haven't heard from Robbie today, but certainly a lot of great comments coming through. Got some new entries on our River Region Straw chat line as where it's easy. You can get in on it as well. Get in on the conversation. You can also email us at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com.
Can I give a big shout out here?
Yes.
Wait to see this guy again, John. Our buddy Kirk.
Yes.
Haven't seen you in the offseason. He says, good morning. Utah is going to be the sleeper this year. A big if. They got to stay healthy. Utah looked good the other day. I've had a lot of people who said, Utah, watch out for them. They don't have Cam Rising for his 19th year at quarterback, but they've got this transfer kid from New Mexico named Dan Peer that I saw play at UNM, and he's a difference maker. He'll be a star.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And I'm not sure how good Utah is because UCLA's pathetic.
They're
hey,
bad.
Don't want to take anything away from the Utes. How about Tobias checking in on the River Region Straw chat line today? Good question.
Fair question. T. Smitty 3000 is Tobias. He says, question, gentlemen. The media is talking about Debor's buyout, but why not use that money to buy some dadgum players? That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're not spending the $70 million. Let's get real. That $70 million that they're saving, ostensibly, that's going to go to players.
Yeah, why not? Should be. That's the most important. Hey, joining us now, as he does each and every Thursday to kick off hour number 2, is our man Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. The freshest seafood direct from the Gulf, arriving daily at 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead. Your order will be ready for pickup. 288-4272. Hey, Rodney, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning, guys. How are the both of you? You had much to talk about the last day or two?
That has not been a problem for us, Rodney. Really, when we're preparing for the interview, we always like to prepare a little bit, trying to come up with a question. The big question that we had for you to start was, where do we start? What Alabama loses 31-17 at Florida State. Where do we start to recap that one, Rodney? Where do we begin with that?
Well, I would say this. This is me. First of all, Florida State, man, what a turnaround, huh? I mean, you have to give Norvell credit from what we saw on Saturday. That's a completely different team. We talked about all those new players they have, and they did a fantastic job, getting those guys to play at that level that they played at. With that kind of continuity, consistency, cohesiveness is the really word I'm looking for.
Right.
I mean, it was pretty impressive to me. But with that said, no matter how improved Florida State is or might be, I would say this, it had nothing to do with their performance. I'm more interested in what Alabama did. And I don't know that was, I might say that was the most unprepared, undisciplined, uninspired defense I've ever seen. And you could say some things about the offense, obviously, too. But I mean, it was a 3-ring circus out there on defense. It really was. I mean, it was stunning. And here's the problem with that. And people are talking about, well, it's just one game. Well, it's not really one game. It's a carryover from what we saw last year defensively. And I think that's the thing that has a lot of Alabama fans really on the edge right now is that, okay, we saw this last year. We can let it slide. It was a transition year. We understand that. But what are you going to do to fix it this year? And, we just saw another performance that was a carryover.
Yeah, it was. I think it surprised and shocked a lot of people. I think because, Rodney, of what people were hearing leading into the game. There are a lot of former players, a lot of national media people just ranting and raving about this team. And I asked you several weeks ago, I thought, well, what's changed in 9 months since we last saw them play? And as I watched that game play out Saturday afternoon, I thought to myself, nothing's changed.
Might have looked worse.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not so sure that they didn't look worse than last year.
Mm-hmm.
At times last year. Sometimes they looked good. But what did we talk about all off season? Consistency and performance.
Yeah.
Do they show up week to week? And they didn't show up the opening game, the season opener, which is stunning. And again, I understand going on the road to Florida State, obviously a rejuvenated Florida State team, but that really doesn't explain the lack of preparation that we saw. Now, I say lack of preparation. I don't think that was necessarily the case in terms of, the physical things that they did, the preparation in the weight room and all of those things. And the buzz, as you mentioned, John, throughout the camp, and these are really good sources, people that know football. The buzz was, this is a team that's going to look a lot different this year. And, what we saw Saturday obviously wasn't the case.
The idea that this team was soft.
Mm-hmm.
How do you react to some? I know you've heard it. I've seen it on your message boards at TigerInsider.com, which you could probably light a cigar on those message boards. They're so fiery. How would you react to that particular assessment?
And I don't think you could argue with it. I mean, when you see guys not taking on blocks up front, defensively, linebackers running around blocks, it didn't look to me. I bet you could count the number of physical tackles on one hand. I mean, I just didn't see. I didn't see what you would expect, obviously. So, again, I didn't see it defensively at all. Offensively, the offensive line at times was, I watched some of the OL, not a ton, to be honest with you, but, and I think they had some really good moments. That first drive was really impressive. You're sitting there thinking, wow, okay, this is old school Saban here, lining up, going, what was it, 16 plays, whatever, 9 minutes, dominated the line of scrimmage. So they looked really good in that. And then after that, Florida State obviously made some adjustments, and Alabama didn't seem to adjust. And I thought the offensive line looked pretty weak at times. And I'm talking about pass protection at times. The technique was bad. The tackles struggled at times. Ty Simpson, I thought Ty was okay at times, but I have to be honest with you. I thought there were times when I looked at him and he appeared in the eyes. He appeared to be overwhelmed. I saw a deer in headlight looks in his eyes. Now, with that said, I give him credit. He fought through it, came back, made some plays. But we talked about all summer, how does he respond when the lights come on? And I think I saw a bit of being overwhelmed there. So he'll have to take a big step as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rodney. I had some people disagree with me on that statement, but I thought he had the deer in the headlight look as well, overwhelmed. And if I'm running for my life, I guess I would be too, because the offensive line was not giving him a lot of time or a lot of protection. But I definitely picked up on that as well. Why was Ryan Williams playing in the slot?
Yeah, I think they want to move him around a lot, and he didn't seem comfortable, obviously. Short-armed a few balls, dropped a couple. So they really want to move him around, and that was kind of the plan going in, and that's why he was there. But Ryan did not have a good day, obviously, not at all. And it was a real kind of, that was another kind of shocking thing.
Well, it has brought a lot of conversation to our show, obviously, and a lot of conversation into our lives. People are already talking about making a change in the head coaching position. Is that premature talk? Is that responsible talk or not?
Well, let me say this too, real quick about Ryan Williams, and you talk about the being in the slot, just trying to create different matchups that they feel like are advantageous to using Ryan. So I think that was a big thing they wanted to try to do. Now, as far as the talk about Kalen Debor, I believe this. Here's what I think, John and Barry. I think that Kalen Debor is a really good coach, and we've talked about that. Mm-hmm. I just don't know about the fit. And that's something that we just don't, because listen, what we saw last year, we talked about how unacceptable it is, but he didn't really make any changes on the defensive side of the ball. When it was obvious that, you would think it would be obvious that, hey, let's just be clear about this. Kane Womack, he's got a lot to prove. And you know what? These people at Alabama, they're not going to be very patient. There's a certain standard, as you guys know. And I just think that Kalen Debor misjudged his staff. I really believe that. And I'm talking about on the defensive side, because I think they're right now, if you have to look at it, that's where he should have gone and made some significant changes. And he sat still.
And I don't know if, I'm with you there, Rodney. I think he also, in my mind, misjudged what it takes to be a head football coach in the SEC. Yeah, he had a lot of success in the Pacific Northwest, but, they're second fiddle in Seattle to the Seahawks. And, maybe the pressures day in and day out and the demands are not there in Seattle as they are in Tuscaloosa or Athens or Knoxville or Baton Rouge or Auburn. It is every day. Yeah. And I'm not sure he realized that. And maybe he's realizing it now, a little bit too late, but it's every dadgum day here. And you can't go fishing or go, take a couple of days off in the mountains in the Pacific Northwest. Down here, it is 365.
Yeah, it is. And, I think that you're right. I mean, listen, I told you this last week, I think. Franchione once told me, if you don't understand this place, it'll overwhelm you quickly. and I think that's part of it. I think that he didn't understand this place, and now I think he's beginning to understand a little better. But again, I go back to what I said. I think there were probably some areas that he didn't quite see the urgency to make changes, and right now I think it could be coming back to bite him.
Well, this is also a game coming up. It's the home opener and all of that, but it's a game coming up that, for lack of a better phrase, Rodney, I don't think can help him. They could win it 35-0, 45-0 against ULM. That won't calm or ease the questions. But if it's a close game, boy, it sure could hurt him.
Yeah, it could. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Now, if you want to look at it from a positive perspective,
right?
You say you go in, you win this game, you settle down a little bit. No, the fans aren't, but your team settles down a little bit. Maybe some good things happen. Some confidence is built. You take a baby step, and then you go in the next week. You beat Wisconsin, and then you've got the off week, and you're saying, okay, we're 2-1. Now we've got to go to Georgia. This is going to be a real big challenge. And what if you go on the road and you have a really good performance and you win that game? Then all of a sudden everything changes. Is that possible? I think it's possible. Is it far-fetched? It's extremely far-fetched. I would say that. But at the same time, is it possible? Yes. This is the same team that so many trusted sources, very knowledgeable sources, watched in August and said, this team's extremely talented and they can win a lot of games. This can be a special team. I don't know how many times I heard the term, this can be a special team. And so that if that's accurate, and I do trust those sources, this is really basically, and I know they have some injuries, this is basically the same team. Some of those guys, Jam Miller, Tim Keenan, will be back against Georgia. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's the bright side of it. I'm with you. A lot of people had a lot of positive things to say about this program in preseason camp. Maybe it'll play out in Athens. I'm not sure you're going to, judge if this team is improved by beating Louisiana Monroe.
Not at
all. You can do that. You're in Tuscaloosa. Chris Lowe of On3 wrote a piece that some boosters aren't happy. I'm sure they're not. I'm just a little surprised that they are vocalizing that to a writer. Are you hearing anything like that?
Well, yeah, because my phone rings all the time, and
yeah.
So yes, yeah, and yeah, and there's some people on TiderInsider.com that are highly placed as well.
Oh yeah. Don't let those nicknames fool you.
yeah, or the way they act sometimes. I mean, people think they're young kids, but they're really not. They're highly professional
Yes, they are.
in their real life. But anyway, with that said, Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought the only thing the article said that we didn't already know, that all these people on Tighter Insider and on the internet are saying, the only thing is they quoted an anonymous source that said, hey, he confirmed they're unhappy. Well, we knew that.
Yeah.
So it's not a surprise, John. But it makes you wonder, and I don't know, you guys tell me, okay?
Okay.
It does make you wonder, how did that article come about?
There had to have been somebody to light the candle on that. And there had to have been some sources behind it to help flesh out the direction it took, right?
Do you think the booster called Chris Lowe or the other way around?
I think somehow it was arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. I mean, it really struck me as, okay, there's a reason for this. This is planted,
Yep.
This is, if you want to put it that way.
That's the proper phrase. And it would not surprise me, not at all. Same booster said, yeah, we're spoiled. We've been spoiled for a long time. But that doesn't change anything. Doesn't change the expectations.
And I'm with you. And I think you talk about all these people knee-jerk reactions. Got to get rid of Debor. Don't see it happening, Rodney. That's my personal opinion. I think there's just too much money involved. But do I see some people getting Debor and saying you got to get rid of some of these people on your staff? We see that a lot in college football, where there's a little push to the head coach. This guy's got to go. You got to make a change here. Basically saying, if you don't do it, you're next.
Well, let me say this, and this is my opinion. I really like Kalen Debor, and I believe he could be a really good coach. I just think there's some things that it's not just it's on the field, but I think there's probably some things that we're even seeing last year that off the field that made people a little uncomfortable. And I think we're seeing some of those things that, it's just people don't feel like, okay, this is the Alabama way. And I think that because of that, it's magnified everything. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. Maybe the best way to say it is some people feel like he's not like in total control of this program. And when you come from a guy like Nick Saban, who managed and controlled every single detailed, with an iron fist, actually.
Yeah.
And it was so structured, regimented, and all of those things. And then all of a sudden you see more of a loose, kind of loosey-goosey attitude. It just makes Alabama people feel uncomfortable. And again, I still think Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach, and I think he could be very successful. But again, it's right now it's shaky ground.
One more question I've gotten. It's a football question. You were one of the first ones to point out the loss of Tim Keenan for at least the first few days on the interior of the defensive line. Now, from a pure football sense, Jeremiah Beeman, who was listed as a starter with Keenan out, he didn't play against Florida State because of a knee injury. From a pure football sense, what does that do on the interior of the defensive line? Well,
I mean, I just kind of had to take a deep breath here because this is something that we've been talking about. You got to have defensive linemen. You've got to have depth. You can't say we've got depth stockpiled for the next year or two because you got the portal and things change. People leave. There's different things that come up. And you don't know about injuries. You always have to have quality depth built on that defensive line so you can rotate guys in. And now this is what's happening. Keenan gets hurt. He's out for a few games. Beeman gets hurt. Now all of a sudden you're playing guys that aren't ready to play on the defensive line. And that's because I think it goes back to what you did in recruiting the last couple of years. And you have the portal, which Kelby Collins you got him. He didn't necessarily contribute much in this last game. Now, maybe moving forward, he will. So I think they put themselves in a situation that makes it even more difficult because of the way some of the decisions they made in recruiting, the numbers, and the development of those guys. And right now, this defensive line, to me, it might be the shakiest part of this team. And guess what? It also might be your most important part of the defense because it all starts up front.
Yeah.
And so there is a concern there on that defensive line.
Rodney, we had a guest on in the first hour that made a statement that I thought really hit the point. And I think we're going to see this coming up the next couple of months. I think it's going to maybe be this way from here on out. Player movement. You're going to see a lot of it because of the way things are shaking out with NIL and contracts and things of that nature. And I'm thinking, you it's like the NFL. You got to go find your best 53 players.
Yep.
And you got to focus really on your starting 22 and hope they don't get hurt and really focus on those type of guys, similar to what it seems like Ohio State has done, cherry picking all these big time players from around the country, and certainly have done it at getting players from Tuscaloosa. Your thoughts about player movement? There wasn't any after spring practice. Do you anticipate some player movement before the first of the year?
Well, I mean, again, I think a lot of it depends on how things play out. You always, let's not forget in the first portal they had in January, or whenever the date was that they opened the first portal, they did have some movement. They lost some guys, obviously. The second portal, the spring portal, they held on to everyone. But yes, I mean, I guess the thing that really surprised me to an extent is Alabama didn't get competitive with some of the top-notch portal guys. I understand you want to develop the guys that you have. And especially, if you think, hey, look, these guys have a ton of promise. We've recruited them. And I believe in that kind of philosophy. You want to recruit and develop the guys that you bring in first and foremost, and then fill in, as you said, with top-notch portal guys. Okay, so Isaiah Horton, I mean, I think he's going to be a really good portal addition. He was injured in this game. Okay, so we'll see moving forward how he does. And Cam Calhoun, there's some guys that they brought in, but they didn't really. Why didn't you go get you a real dominant defensive lineman?
Yeah.
I know they start out at $1 million a year. I get it. But, this is about, you want to win games, right? I mean, this is the goal.
It's
today. And I think, I do wonder, why did they fiddle around with some guys that are projects, in the portal? And I say projects, the guys that you don't know, I mean, they don't even look like they could be 2 or 3 years away from playing.
Is it an NIL issue? Do they have an NIL problem?
Well, obviously they're not Texas or Oregon or Ohio State, or there's some of these schools that are dumping a ton of money. They've been very competitive. I think the one thing they want to do is, and again, I understand this philosophy. You don't want to get your roster out of whack where you're going out and you're going to create a lot of locker room chaos. I think that they're not going to overpay for kids, what they consider to be overpaying.
Yeah.
And does it, like you said, John, that they don't have the money Texas has. So they do have to be a little more conscientious about what they do. But I don't think that that's necessarily it completely. But I don't understand why you did not go more aggressively in the portal for a few spots, maybe on the defensive line that could have helped you. And I will say this, in all fairness, I do think, and again, it kind of contradicts what I just said about NIL. I do think that they had a couple of targets on the defensive line, at least one that they thought they had, and some other school offered a considerable amount more there and kind of swayed him.
Mm. Well, it is a very Rodney thing when we first asked him for his overall reaction to the game that he first of all gave credit to the opposition. But again, very pointed comments, very, a lot of truth, a lot of honesty from Rodney, which we always enjoy. TigerInsider.com. Boy, it is a hot spot to be in these days. How do people get in?
Yeah, it's TigerInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card, or if you prefer, there is an address there to send a check. Gives you all our premium information. We've had some, I've had some opinion pieces a little bit, where things stand and all of those things. And then, our fans, I mean, they're in that community. There's been a lot of exchange. I mean, it has been rolling. You guys mentioned it. And I want to be clear, though, before I get off here, I'm not saying it's doom and gloom right now. I mean,
Right.
I'm not doing that. I really believe there's a chance for Kalen Debor to get this season going in the right direction. It's just it's going to be a real challenge.
Hey, we love your honesty, Rodney, and
We do.
the opinion pieces. I've really enjoyed this week as well. Great content as always. TI, Tighter Insider, Rodney Orr. Man, thank you so much, Rodney. We always look forward to it. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Take care.
Yes, sir. Tighter Insider. You need to subscribe. Man, it is awesome.
You also need to head out to the Destin Connection Seafood Market. They sponsor every week for years. Rodney Orr and TighterInsider.com. Fish, shrimp, crab meat, oysters, and more arriving daily from the Gulf, John. Every day.
It is, Barry. I took some triple tail down to the beach over the weekend for Labor Day. Yeah, I got it here at Destin Connection. I ain't getting it down there because I know it was fresher here because I know David has got all the contacts with all the fishermen down there on the Gulf, and it was fantastic. You can enjoy it as well. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road, or call them up 288-4272. We're going to catch something when we come back, Barry. We're going to catch a winner. I'll tell you about the Phantom's Daily Dog.
Oh, I thought you were going to say. I mean, I use hand sanitizer. I'm not going to catch nothing. It's a big segment from Rodney. The Phantom's Daily Dog next. Bill Clark in just a little while as well. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. All right, welcome back in. Glad you are with us. Couple of minutes to the bottom of hour number 2 here on a Thursday. Got some NFL action tonight. Start of the NFL season, week 1. But let's talk about yesterday.
All right.
Let's talk about yesterday. Early game, Barry. 12-10, I believe, was the first pitch for Detroit hosting the New York Mets yesterday.
It is true.
Yeah.
A couple of good pitchers with Alabama ties. Former Auburn star, number 1 overall draft pick, Casey Mize for the Tigers against Slocum, Alabama's finest, Clay Holmes.
Uh-huh.
It promised to be a pretty good one. The Phantom took a flutter on it. He kind of liked that one.
Yeah.
Mets in Detroit, from Detroit. And it was a good game.
It was a good game, Barry. We were catching plus 105, a home underdog.
Yeah.
Plus 105.
Go figure.
And, started out a little slow. We got a couple of runs in some of the middle innings to kind of, ease things up a little bit for us. and we're able to cash our ticket in with a 6-2 victory yesterday. Phantom's Daily Dog, 6-2 victory. What do you say? How about that?
The Phantom has been surprisingly excellent. Not in the major leagues. Major League Baseball, who knows?
Yeah.
Phantom has been pretty doggone good.
I mean, I'm kind of like a baseball junkie. Well,
But
I don't go that far.
What is the Phantom going to do now that tonight we get underway with the National Football League? Is he gonna switch over? What have we got today or tonight?
You know,
in
Barry,
the Phantom's Daily Dog.
It's tough here. I got to tell you, and we are doing really well in baseball.
No question.
A lot of series are starting tonight in baseball, so you've got to get a kind of a feel about how these are going to play out. 3-4 game series in some cases. But Barry, I looked and studied at this pretty closely here. And I know there's only one game in the NFL tonight, 7:20 on NBC.
Yeah.
And Peacock. Why would you watch it on Peacock and not NBC? I don't understand.
Well, Peacock is NBC's streaming service.
Yeah.
So if you don't have cable or, an antenna, you watch it on Peacock. But you can also watch it on Telemundo if you want to.
True.
I've had a buddy.
True.
Can I say this? I had a friend in this was after college. Yikes. How old was I?
Yeah.
That he liked to watch sporting events on Telemundo after a few beers.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just because it would give him the giggles.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I get it. I was in Mexico this summer. Couldn't find a lot of stations that weren't Spanish.
Funny how that works.
It is. Fox News was in English. I do remember that. But that was about the only one now that I think about it.
Okay.
Heck, when I watch CNN here, it sounds like they're in Spanish, some of the stuff they're talking about. But anyway, so I did check a lot of Telemundo out this summer. Did not have a clue what they were saying. But Barry, we're going to go with the NFL tonight.
All right.
And this is a tough one, I got to tell you, because I hope Dallas gets beat. I mean, you know me. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'd like them to get embarrassed, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to win. Maybe they will. Who knows in the NFL? It's kind of crazy early.
But that's not important.
That really isn't. I don't think they're going to lose by more than 8.5. That is a lot of points in the NFL. A lot. Is. And I know I'm watching, I guess, Cowherd yesterday, second day in a row, had lunch with Cowherd, and he has like his NFL poll of all 32 teams. And I don't know who did got all the matrix and data up, but Dallas was the third from the bottom in terms of standing in the NFL. Saints were at the bottom.
Yeah, actually. I was about to. That was my question.
And I thought, wow, Dallas is really that bad? Wait a minute. I've been told all these years how great Dak Prescott is and, the wearing that star on your helmet and all that type stuff. I just think 8.5 is too many. I know it's on the road, but I am taking the Dallas Cowboys tonight plus 8.5. There again, what would be good for me, Barry, is they lose the game but cover the spread.
Yeah, if they can lose the game as badly as they can possibly lose it and still cover, perfect scenario for John.
Oh, yeah. You ain't
there
kidding.
You go. Okay, there you go. Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
I like it. There's also Friday NFL action, by the way, but there's also
and I got to find
Friday
out how
college
to watch
action.
That one. That's on YouTube, so I got.
It is on YouTube TV. Yeah. Yes. On YouTube TV and on YouTube. You can go to YouTube right where you're watching Longshore and McKnight. And, I know a lot of people focus and say, hey, YouTube, that's where I get Longshore and McKnight. They got other stuff, too.
They do.
You can
where ours is the most entertaining and informative, but they do have other stuff.
Yeah, the NFL does okay. I got to give them some credit.
All right, so what do you think? Cowboys plus 8.5 tonight?
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to follow up on this. Tobias, I've been liking his stuff anyway.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
like his stuff lately. He says, remember, the big money boosters wanted Rich Rodriguez to be their coach. Let's not let them make the hiring decisions.
Well,
I
hold on. Let
agree
me
with
tap the
Rodney.
brakes.
Womack needs to go get his CDL.
Yeah, Tobias, the boosters really wanted somebody else.
Yeah.
That's who they really wanted. And his wife said, nah, I think we're happy here in San Diego.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to be moving.
The background story. And even even then, the point is still good. The boosters, that was the problem for a long time, is the boosters were making the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for somebody with Bear Bryant ties, and it didn't necessarily need to be that way.
That's right.
More to come.
Yeah, we're waiting for Coach Bill Clark to join us. He should be here momentarily. And before we do go to slip out for the quick break, Barry, I do need to let everybody know you need to get your entries in by the kickoff of the Alabama-Lamo game and the Auburn-Ball State game. I think it's 6:30 and 6:45.
That's correct. Auburn at 6:30, Bama 6:45.
Give us the scores in those games, the exact final score for the Auburn or Alabama games, and you're going to win a $500 1-carat lab-grown diamond from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. You heard me right. Give us the score in the Auburn game, the score in the Alabama game. And if you get one of those exactly, you are our winner. We have multiple winners. We'll have a draw-off. It's easy. Limit one entry per person, per household, per game. You can enter anytime before the kickoff of those games at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. All weekly winners go into a drawing or have the opportunity to pick the national championship score for a 1-carat natural-grown diamond valued at $3,000. Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree, adjacent to Chappie's Deli, open 7 days a week. And Marguerite's, they make it. They really make it.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry and Longshore and McKnight are giving you the opportunity to win a 1-carat lab-grown diamond valued at $500. Pick the exact score for either the Auburn or Alabama games each week. Limit one entry per person, per household, per game. You can enter anytime beginning Monday morning the week of the games, and all entries must be received before kickoff of each game. Enter by emailing your picks to longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. And in the subject line, type in diamonds. One additional entry to win a 1-carat natural diamond valued at $3,000 will be up for all weekly winners to pick the score in the national championship game. Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. Open 7 days a week, or check them out at marguerites.com. At Marguerites, they make it. They really make it. Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. Okay, here we are back at it, 20 minutes or so until the top of the hour here on a Thursday edition. We'll remind everybody we'll be at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville tomorrow for the big show. Of course, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, will be joining us as he does each and every Friday. Ralph Michaels of Wager Talk in the Gold Sheet. And I don't know if you heard, Barry, but the Phantom was 3-1 in his Phantom 4 last week. I guess he'll be joining us again, too.
I did. Tomorrow, the Phantom will be with us at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. Phantom doing Phantom things early for sure. Really love the start because, as you know, the Phantom, as the evidence continues to compile as the season goes along and the Phantom figures out, this kid, kept telling me he wasn't any good. He's pretty good. Or that guy that they said was pretty good, he stinks. So normally the Phantom really gets momentum heading into the second half of the season, especially into the postseason. So if he gets off to a good start, that's good for all of us.
It is.
Believe me.
Barry, I thought Rodney had a lot of great things to say today. There's no doubt. I really enjoy his. So did Jason. I mean, I think those two guys have been phenomenal today. We're not going to know anything about Alabama unless they get beat Saturday or they win the game 24-17. If they win the game 48-3, so what? Then they
win the game 31-14. People ain't going to be happy.
Well, if Lamo scores 14 in this defensive line that Rodney talked about, and we've talked about it with him a long time, is just subpar, that's going to be a concern. People are going to be screaming about that. I understand. I would be too.
Yeah.
And then Wisconsin, I'm not overly thrilled with them. I mean, they didn't show me much. I mean, heck, Wisconsin and Alabama kind of looked the same in my mind, even though Wisconsin did beat Miami of Ohio by 17. But going to Athens after an off week, okay, if they win the next two, go to an off week and go to Athens and win, then it's going to be a totally different mindset, totally different conversation. Wow, they're back. And it could happen. But they're going to like to put it this way. If you were buying stock, are you buying stock in Alabama today in hopes you can make a profit and sell it in 4 weeks?
What did Rodney say? He said, I know that sounds far-fetched, but it could happen. That Alabama, I'm thinking, wait a minute. It's far-fetched to be able to beat Georgia? Really?
They'll be an underdog. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, but is that the way people are leaning right now? There ain't no way. Is that?
I think it'll be interesting. There again, if they do beat them, wow.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I would have to. I would be color me shocked. I would not buy Alabama stock today with the hopes that I would be making a profit and could sell it in a month from now for more than what I bought it today. I would be a lot more concerned that I'd be taking a loss with that stock.
Coming up, scheduled in about 5-8 minutes, Bill Clark, former head football coach in the state of Alabama, high school, college, and all that, gives us a moment or two to dabble in the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel presented by Victoryland 777 Casinos, exit 22 of I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too.
That's right.
See what we got
Let's
here.
see
We
what
don't know
we
what
got.
it is. We have no idea. Messy 8th, who knows? We just got to go with the flow here.
Yeah.
This is called Coming Home.
Coming home.
Nick Saban leaves Jupiter to
Who is coming home?
Coming home.
Dabo Swinney coming home. Oh, what we got here?
NFL season starting early in Colorado. Oh, is this going to be a
boom? Yeah. Love it.
That's what John's talking.
Hit the plate. Got to touch the plate. Oh, come on.
There we go.
Guys laughing.
Both of them are hurt. Yeah.
Toward
the hole. Yeah.
Look at this.
College, you can't do this because the guy, the catcher,
boom,
right there in the middle of the play in the baseline, can't do it. The runner has a right to the baseline.
What do you can't do that in college? Well, what?
Well,
so what are you supposed to do?
You can't block the baseline.
If you do in college, you block the baseline. Is it an automatic run? You win,
what?
you get.
I think it is. Yeah, you're safe. I remember one time Terry Kennedy, a catcher for the San Diego Padres, big guy, played at Florida State. He was blocking the plate when Bo was coming home. Oh my gosh. I thought Terry Kennedy lost his life on that play.
Yeah.
Bo treated him like Brian Bosworth and then some. All right, let's go back.
Yeah, that is not good. It's not good. Ooh, man. But I do like, see, Barry, that's what I like about baseball.
Plenty somebody up. Hit somebody.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Here
we
go.
We could do that running into first.
Fire it up.
Spin away. Let's see what we got.
I'm
Man,
feeling
how about that kind of aqua color today? That looks pretty good.
Messy
eighth. Messy eighth. What team blew at 8?
And
looked Braves.
And looked terrible in doing so.
Ooh. The Yankees.
Oh, yes. There we go.
Here's another love about baseball. Did I just say that?
This is what, John, if there's baseball, that's Devin Williams. He's not having the best year.
Yeah.
He says
chatter.
You missed 4.
Yeah.
Brian Walt says, out of here. Here comes Aaron Boone. He's out of there too. The umpire, he does look like he's about 21.
Sure. So let me ask you this, Barry.
Yeah. Yankees end up losing, as you might expect. This was an 8th inning, and it was not good. They end up losing against Houston.
Yep.
But it was a pretty close game. 8-7.
So let me ask you this, Barry. Is it the fact that he said you missed 4, or is it the fact that he might have said you missed bleeping 4?
Yeah. Or you bleeping missed 4. See, that's a word, we're talking about cuss words earlier. That's one that everybody uses, the F word.
Yeah.
As a noun. What the? As a verb.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about that. As an adjective, adverb. And some people just use it. They use it while they're collecting their thoughts. Instead of saying, they'll say the F word. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about.
So Barry, look at
European people, British people.
Yeah, they do.
Say the F word a ton.
They really do. Yeah. So think about that, Barry. I mean, that's a word kind of like another word you can use in so many different ways.
John has used before. It's the word aub. What are they doing? They're going to ob it up again over the Ed Teague Arena. So it's a verb there. Of course, it's a noun. Those obs. It's an adjective. That was a very ob thing to do.
See, they're in good company there.
Yeah, it's that's so ob.
Yeah, that is so ob.
That type of thing. You can use that. Yeah, same deal.
All right. There's 2 good ones there. Yeah, I like that.
Maybe sneak another one in.
Umpires are too sensitive. They're way too sensitive. Come on.
Got to treat them with respect.
Horse feathers.
Here we go.
All right. Where'd the aqua panel go? Was that there? Yeah, I like the.
No, I think we switched around the colors a little bit.
Scummy.
No, let's move past scummy to sneaky. Sneaky.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Isn't that a hot dog chain?
Oh, you see this. The NBA has a salary cap, and the Los Angeles Clippers have a billionaire owner, Steve Ballmer.
Yep.
His best player is Kawhi Leonard. So he wants to pay Kawhi Leonard more than he can because he's right at the top of the salary cap. So what does he do? He creates a false company for a job, and Kawhi Leonard, all of a sudden, it's like NIL. We're going to pay you $28 million from the company. It's called Aspiration. Aspiration announced a partnership with the company. Now it's bankrupt. And they say, hey, Kawhi Leonard, we want you to be our spokesman. We'll pay you $28 million. He never had to show up. He never had to record any copy. He never had to go to any place. He wasn't a spokesman, but they hired him for $28 million to be a spokesman for a company that's bankrupt. It doesn't show up on his NBA salary, so he gets $28 million more, and they get to beat the cap.
Yep. Interesting. Creative financing is what I call that.
Moving the books around a little bit. That's what he learned that from NIL.
Yep.
Very sneaky. Can't do that. Probably a fine coming.
Hey, Barry, ask for permission or ask for forgiveness?
Yeah, ask for permission beforehand and forgiveness afterwards. I know which one John falls on.
Yeah.
It's the opposite side of the one that I fall
wait a
on.
minute. I didn't know I couldn't do that, huh? Really?
Yeah, it's like that Seinfeld episode where they found George and that secretary, and they had video of it. And he says, "You're fired, George, because of that." And George says, "Was that frowned upon?" I mean, there was nothing about that in the beginning. When I didn't. I mean, if I had, that kind of a thing. Let's take a break. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. 9 minutes or so to the top of the hour. Hey, Bear, it's never too soon to start thinking about firewood. Yep, we're going to have some chilly days and nights approaching sooner rather than later. You want to be stocked up with plenty of seasoned firewood from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have it at their Montgomery location for pickup. They can also deliver it, stack it up for you. They can even deliver it to Prattville and Auburn area customers as well. So if you want to get ahead of the game and get that seasoned firewood ready for those cold days and nights that are going to be coming up, give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959. I can promise you at Phantom Enterprises, we've got some wood already stacked up ready to go for that first chilly night.
Phantom knows what that's all about. That's for sure. Give him a call. Big supporters of the program, have been for years. Kenny and the staff, 669-5959. Call or text at River Region Straw. Back to the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Longshore and McKnight. Curated by Gurren Jr. He does a lot of research and work on this.
I mean, he surprises us. We're on our toes when these panels pop up. On the clock. On the clock.
Golf Channel games. McIlroy and Scheffler, the two best players in the world. Team golf competition December 17th at Trump National in Jupiter, Florida. Golf Channel, USA Network, time to drive, chip, and putt solo competition where they try. There's just 14 club challenge, a time shootout, a captain's challenge. It's kind of gimmicky golf, but there's two things to bear in mind. Number one, there's plenty of gimmicks. It's not just golf. Number two, it's got the two best players in the world. And number three, ain't nobody from the Live Tour going to be on it.
No, they're not. I wonder if Trump's going to be there since they're playing it his course.
Yeah,
maybe the president would like to get in a couple of chip shots along the way.
Maybe Saban will be there. That's his home course, I believe.
He's right down the road. You're right about that.
Yeah.
On the clock, there's some people I play with, Barry, that need to be on the clock. Let's go while we're young.
Of course, John's one of the fastest golfers ever. He's out there. Okay, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Who's the kid? All right, here we go. Place your bets. Grabs his club, addresses the ball, takes a swing. All right, let's head on.
Do it. Yeah, what are we waiting on? Jeez.
John loves that 18 handicapper plumb bobbing his chip shot, or
my favorite. So you playing
going up
a
the grass.
scramble, and that D player's going, "Hey man, what do you think? I'm looking at it like it's going to break like 2 cups." I go, "Yeah, perfect. You read it. Perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Hit it.
Let's go."
You ain't gonna come close to it anyway. Doesn't matter if you're swinging a pitching wedge or whatever. Anyway, let's go to back to it.
Yep, let's do it. Two more to go.
Look at us.
Look at that. No kidding.
We actually got a bit of a head start because we're in a holding pattern for Bill Clark. Maybe have to get him later, but we got a little bit of an early start. Scummy, snooty, scummy.
Huh?
Abe Froman.
I think that was a.
Oh yeah, Framber Valdez, we mentioned, very good left-hander. He intentionally crossed up his catcher. He wanted to throw this pitch. Catcher said, "Step off, step off." He said, "No," and he gives up a homer.
Oh wow!
The catcher wanted him to throw this pitch. Valdez says, "No, I don't want to throw that pitch." Kid homers. Now watch this. Crosses him up. Oh. He was expecting a fastball. Catcher doesn't like it. Pitcher turns around and everything. Catcher says, "Hey, man, that ain't cool. That ain't cool." And, man, I'm telling you, Valdez got skewered by his dugout. That was it begins with a D. It's a blank move. Catcher's looking for a breaking ball. He gets a fastball. Valdez is making a point. The catcher says, "Hey, man, you can't do that."
Is there a communication issue here, Barry? Because I know maybe there's a little Spanish going on. Maybe I don't know.
The catcher's telling him what he wants him to throw. Pitcher says no. Catcher says, "No, you got to throw this." So the pitcher says, "No, I'm going to throw this." Catcher says, "Okay, serve it up." Guy homers. It ain't the catcher's fault. And then on the next batter, he crosses up his catcher. Catcher was right, and he got skewered. I mean, he loses a ton of respect in the clubhouse.
Didn't the Braves have a pitcher that couldn't speak English or got lost on 285 or something
Pascual
like
Perez.
that?
This is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
45 years. 40
it's easy. Lost on 285. I mean, come on. Jeez.
Yeah, it's hard to get on 285, and it's hard as heck to get off at 285. One more.
Let's do it. Yep. Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic. Will you can be a winner too? Victoryland open 24/7, 365, exit 22 off I-85, Shorter, Alabama.
Coolest card.
Huh.
Wait a minute. Tiger and MJ around the golf, and there's the.
Tiger shoot. Whoa. You're telling me MJ shoots 73? Wait a minute. 73. Where were they playing?
Yeah. Tiger throws a little 65 at him. How do you? I mean,
now what I'd like to see.
There's some bozo out there that'll pay like $12 million. For that.
Now what I'd like to see on that scorecard, Barry: 1 up, 2 up, 1-1, 2 up, 1-1, 0-2. I'd like to see the bet and how they were keeping up with the bet on that. 'Cause I know they didn't go play for funsies.
MJ, I don't think he swung a club for fun in his life. But what I don't understand, because I've seen, like the guys that John plays with.
Yeah.
I see that scorecard. Where's the eraser marks? I mean, there's no scuffed up part in the scorecard where, the guy's going with the eraser, and putting in a new number. I mean, that number one, the handwriting on that's a calligraphy pen.
Yeah.
Who keeps a scorecard with a calligraphy pen?
See, that's not the real actual card that they used. Come on.
That's weird. That's weird because, one of John's buddies says, "Put me down for a 6." That's when the caddy in the back goes, yeah. That's a little bit too pristine.
My favorite is put me down for 6. Are you sure you had a 6? Hey, double bogeys max. I'm taking. I'm not taking anything more than a 6. Oh, okay. All right. If you say so.
It's one of those things we probably should have discussed before the round started or something like that.
Yeah. So wait a minute, Mal. You're telling me Robbie from Greenville was on the Locked On Auburn website? No, whoa, wait a minute. No way.
Yeah. Well, also this, we mentioned Bill Clark, going to have him on, going to work. It's always great. John Dent says, hey, maybe Bill Clark had to take a phone call from Tuscaloosa about the defensive coordinator position.
Yeah, John, maybe
if that's the case, most of you guys would give him a pass for
Yeah.
that.
John, I hadn't really thought about that. And maybe it's a little premature. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. I think a lot of people are not happy with the defense.
A lot of people think it's too late.
Yeah.
It happened a while back.
Too late.
Anyway.
All right, Bears, we mentioned we're at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram tomorrow in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road. Of course, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, will join us in the first hour. I believe the Phantom will kick off hour number 2. And then, of course, we'll have Ralph Michaels from Wager Talking the Gold Sheet at the bottom of hour number 2. Get your picks in for the Auburn Ball State Alabama La Mo game. If you hit the score on the head of one of those 2 games, you are going to win a $500 1-carat lab-grown diamond from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. All you got to do is go to longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com to enter your picks to have a chance to win that 1-carat lab-grown diamond valued at $500.
Our thanks to our great guest today. Good content, Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com, Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. Thanks to our producer, Gurn Jr., for the topic wheel and everything he does. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.